you feel? Where have you been?
How do you feel?
Is this real? Am I dreaming? What's going on? Where am I? Am I awake? Do you still love me?
Hello and welcome everybody to the Overwatch All-Stars Brawl number 4 presented by Star Esports. Today we got a double elimination tournament dedicated to our Overwatch Tier 3 community. Today we are going to be having No Use for a Name versus Scion Esports in match number 3 on the upper bracket. I'm going to be Sir Walton today and I am joined by Shy Guy. Shy Guy, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm just super pumped to get back into things. This is going to be my first cast of the year. We've been on a bit of a hiatus here at Star Esports for a little while now, so it's really exciting to get back into it, and I cannot wait to see what these teams are coming into the new year with.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the talk of the town has been getting back into this tournament. At least for me, it has been. All my friends have not gotten me to stop talking about it. So excited to be getting back into it, diving right on in, as I mentioned, with No Use for a Name and Scion. But before we get too carried ahead of ourselves, we do have a little pre-game interview for those of you at home. It's going to be SK joining us from No Use. SK, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. Thanks, guys.
So why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about what your role is in the team, what you do for the team, all that good stuff.
Sure. So I'm the head coach for Star Esports. I've been with the team for about 3 weeks now, and I'm just doing the same thing that any other coach would do. We're just gonna, get our teams in a good state and hopefully make a name for ourselves and make the best players we can make.
Sounds reasonable to me. Now, you said that you've been the coach here for about 3 weeks. Have you noticed that there's any kind of culture that's been built up for No Use in your time there, or there was any pre-existing culture that kind of got transferred to you when you came to the
The guys like to mess around a lot, as do a lot of other teams, and that does add a really good vibe. But one of the things I've been teaching them is to kind of, when it's game time, it's game time. You get in there, you do your job, and you do the best that you can.
Definitely makes sense. I think some teams, need a little bit of that discipline. It doesn't come naturally to all players, so I think that can be appreciated across the board. Now, SK, for those who don't necessarily know as much, you are a little bit of kind of an in-house team for the Overwatch All-Stars. Is there kind of any insights you can give to people, kind of plug the Discord a little bit, any kind of promotion for those kind of organizations?
Yeah, this is a great place to go ahead and see what your team is made of, to go ahead and participate in one of the most competitive tournaments in Overwatch Tier 3. It's a good all-around environment to test your mettle.
Fantastic, and I'm certainly hoping to look forward to seeing your team test their mettle against Scion Esports. It's going to be a good starting match, I anticipate, SK, but I think we're about ready to get the teams off and going here. Did you have any last words for us and the audience before we let you go?
No, enjoy, guys. Enjoy.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, SK. Now, Shy Guy, we are going to be starting, it looks like, on Oasis. How are you feeling about this map in particular?
I'm really excited to just jump right into things here and really get my first look at No Use for a Name. As you mentioned, this is the in-house team here at Star Esports, so it's going to be very interesting to see how they stack up to what I see as one of the best teams that we have here in this tournament in Scion. They're a team that, anyone who has been watching Star Esports for a while is probably pretty familiar with them. I mean, if you look back to the last All-Star Brawl, they came in with a really strong third place finish. If you look at some of the recent events that we've had, looking at one of the Breakable Barriers tournaments that just went down, they finished in the top 4 there. So this is a team that has really been on the rise, really looking to prove themselves in Tier 3 as we head into 2020, as we get ready for Open Division on the horizon. So seeing how Star Esports can stack up against them is going to be fascinating, and it's really going to show me, what this team is bringing to the table.
Yeah, absolutely. Look forward to seeing it. I mean, the table's going to be filled here. Yesterday, me and Threep were talking about how us as casters, we haven't had the opportunity to cast too much, in December or January. So really seeing how the meta has shaken up since the big barrier nerf has been kind of a treat for us. We still have been noticing a lot of Sig Ori. That combination hasn't quite disappeared yet. So I think it's going to be fascinating to see what they're coming out with.
Yeah, I mean, that nerf came through 2 barriers just kind of in general, almost across the board. But if anything, it has kind of reinforced their place in the meta right now. Those 2 tanks kind of being played a vast majority of the time right now, but that's not going to be the case for No Use for a Name right now, rolling out with kind of a new age dive composition, the Wrecking Ball and the Winston in play.
Yeah, I really like this, but Gummy going to be taking an early kill onto T-Time. T-Time seemed to get caught out there. Not sure if it was because of an accretion rock, but whatever the case is, that's going to be an immediate backup for No Use for a Name. Off on the back foot already.
Yeah, I think that was just a quick bit of burst damage coming through from Scion eSports. An arrow from Cohesion. Gummy finishing it off there. Just a little bit of mispositioning from T-Time cost them that first kill, and they will give up the cap off of the back of that.
Yeah, and it looks like they're setting up now to kind of do a little bit of a retake here. We can see the Sombra in the backlines doing a little bit of scouting, a little bit of recon, trying to see what is a weak target that they might be able to dive on. The Hammond kind of sectioning himself off, but then joined by the rest of their team. Gatos and OJason doing the cleanup that they need to do, but Storm Hornet perhaps a little too far off from the rest of their team. Gummy now helping claim the numbers back. It is looking even keel so far, but the tide slowly turning in favor of Scion. That is until Gato starts to get the kills, coming in with Genji, but not enough, as they all get cleaned up off the back of some Sigma play.
Well, it was an excellent start there for No Use for a Name. They got in onto the supports of Scion immediately, were able to eliminate PMA Jellies and Fallen as soon as the fight got going, but they didn't deal with the tanks, and Niche and Gummy just really clean up that fight. They're able to stay together and turn it around, so now already at 50%.
Yeah, and the chase is going to be going on to Cohesion, but in the meantime, Tony going to be dropping from Gummy. Is the team looking a little bit too divided right now for No Use? They seem to really be struggling with these acquisitions of targets and really knowing who they need to go after. Oh, Jason going to be suffering from it as well with Gatos.
Well, now they've gotten themselves kind of in a really awkward spot at this point. They had taken up position on the opposite side of the map from their spawn, so regrouping is going to be difficult. They're getting chased down now. T-Time and Tony in a little bit of trouble. T-Time in a rough spot. They're surrounded on all sides, and this is just really disorganized from the attack right now.
It really does seem to be disorganized. It looks like there's not any cohesive push going on right now. And here's the question, Shy Guy. Do you think that a Brig is really helping the situation here?
It doesn't seem like it. Tony is having a hard time really getting into the thick of things in these fights. They had one good engagement, but couldn't quite clean it up. Now they're going to be relying on this EMP from T-Time to really set up the final fight.
The EMP coming in will get 3. The Blade going to be coming in as well, but the Immortality field keeping up the Genji's targets. That is until Cohesion steps just one toe outside of that field, going to get cut in half. And the kills going back and forth right now. But really, it needs to be on No Use for a Name to make something happen here. They cannot play too passively. They need to be a little bit explosive. And with this, it looks like kills are going to go slightly in their favor. Niche taking this high ground, though, and holding it so dominantly. The rally going to be coming out from the Brig, played by Tony, and right now it might just be enough to get what they need. The sound barrier as well going to help bolster the defenses, and finally it will be a flip for No Use.
Yeah, I think they're probably going to want that sound barrier back. I mean, it's hard to make that call in the moment to hang on to an ultimate like that, but they were already starting to get the cleanup. They had the rally going as well as both healers in the fight, so I don't think they needed that one, but in the end, No Use for Name is able to get the flip. Now it's just down to can they hang on for the rest of this round.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have to find out. T-Time and Storm Magnet behind. T-Time trying to go for the hack, but Storm Magnet got booped away, causing them to get revealed a little bit. The mine's going in, but the sound barrier to answer. Storm Hornet not finding much value with that quite yet. Not finding any value at all as the members of No Use seem to drop one by one. It is just a few members left on point. The Doomfist, the Lucio, the Wrecking Ball, but the Doomfist gets cleaned up by Gummy. The Mei trying their best to lock down that Wrecking Ball. That's exactly what they're going to achieve. It's just a little bit of stagger coming out now.
Yeah, and that fight really comes down to such an excellent play from PMA Jellies. He throws down the Immortality field. They all stay alive. Now it's just about dealing with these stragglers from No Use for a Name. The Wrecking Ball back into the fray here to buy some time, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough.
Yeah, both teams working on that Wrecking Ball as well. The Lucio coming out. EMP can only be finding Niche. That does kind of prevent that spin to win mechanic, but it might not be enough unless something happens. Storm Hornet dropping is not the something I was talking about. Overtime going to tick down. It's going to go in favor of Scion.
And the thing about this round that I think it really comes down to is just the level of cohesion and kind of teamwork coming out from Scion. This is what we expect from them. We know that they have been together for quite a while. Like, most of this roster has been in this form for a significant amount of time, so they are really kind of all on the same page. Whereas you look at No Use for a Name, they're a little bit of a newer squad, haven't been together quite as long, and it shows there in that first round. Everything a little bit chaotic for them. We'll see if they can swap that up as we head over to University. It's going to be a much more kind of standard looking composition from them this time around.
Yeah, I'm excited to see this far go into play. Gatos, of course, going to be riding with the Mercy high up into the air, ready to rain down those rockets. But it looks like the side of Scion might be opting for a little bit more conservative of a push. We see some of them taking safety inside the left-hand room from them. But T-Time taken down by Psy very early on. That's the turnaround that No Use really needed, but they don't want to lose Tony either. Gummy going to be finding that value with the Sigma in that instance. And these Orisas really trying to just jostle each other out of position, not quite able to find it, but it will eventually be Scion who seems to have the defensive advantage and be pushing onto the point. And with that, they're going to get first flip. And it looks like maybe No Use going to be backing up, but that is until T-Time takes down PMA Jellies with an arrow to the forehead.
Okay, Storm Hornet now in a little bit of an awkward spot, getting frozen up by the Mei, will be dealt with, and that's going to secure this first fight for Scion. The Hanzo's dueling and T-Time will get the better of that, trade going on there. And now a bit of a comeback coming through. The DPS for No Use for a Name really finding some pay dirt.
Yeah, unfortunately not enough denial there to come in and block that Mercy res, but OJ's going to be taken down by PMA Jellies, who just used that Baptiste window, and a lot of shielding going up right in front of it, making sure that window has free range to get just so much value. And with this, it does not look like No Use is really able to push.
Yeah, PMA Jellies so far has just been an absolute madman in this series. The immortality fields are perfect. He builds up that window to really give them the added power they need to close out the fight, so they're able to hang on, and they've been building up percentage this entire time. This is looking so good for Scion.
It really is, and we can see T-Time kind of hanging at the choke. The Accretion Rock going right onto them, maybe punished a little bit for that. Psy going to be taking them down with an icicle to the body. You can't lose those DPS, those impact DPSs that early. It just does not work out for you. However, in this case, it's looking good for the defensive team now, and even the Mei going to be pushing up onto the Sigma Storm Hornet. Not going to be brought down quite yet, but Cohesion has something to tell me, saying that I'm wrong, giving a Storm Arrow to the forehead, and with that, it's going to be a withdrawal from No Use.
Yeah, the Sigma thinks he's safe up on the high ground. Gato's going to unleash the barrage there. Only finds one for his troubles. Will be taken down immediately, and that's not going to be enough value there.
Yeah, and these are just some bad late staggers coming in. These dragons trying to come in from T-Time, trying to buy a little bit of space. Not going to quite be enough as the clock is continually ticking down. Something needs to happen for No Use.
It's going to be Storm Hornet getting onto the point at the last second to keep the overtime going, but a Blizzard is waiting for him. He'll be dealt with shortly, and even the Valking Mercy not going to be able to do anything to buy some time.
Yeah, not quite enough. It just did not look like the last push was going to be there for the side of No Use. They did not have the organization. They didn't have the manpower to get back onto point. And at the end of the day, we're just seeing their numbers trickle down, and eventually so will that overtime clock as it goes in favor of Scion.
And the problem that I see here for No Use for a Name, especially on this second point on University, was they never really took the opportunity to regroup and come back in as six, come in for a cohesive fight. They were constantly trying to scrap to get pickoffs, and at times it seemed like it was working, but they never got the team wipe they needed to get the flip. They were never able to get the decisive advantage that you have to have on these control points, and they just kind of peter out towards the end of that round.
Yeah, unfortunately, it did kind of seem that way. Normally, when we talk about these control point maps, you can say, oh, well, sometimes the more aggressive team wins, or the team that's scrappier wins, because, it's just basically a TDM, a team deathmatch game mode that just comes down to staying in a certain area. But in this case, it didn't look like they were able to quite win it through that kind of mindset. And I'm curious to see how they're going to reassemble themselves in the next coming maps.
Yeah, we'll get into a little bit more kind of a structured environment as we head into our other game modes here tonight. So we'll see if they can kind of shift their style a little bit. I liked certain things that we were seeing from No Use. The DPS play I thought was quite good. Gatos as well. as tea time, where we're both finding good angles, finding good opportunities, just not really able to capitalize on those was the rest of the team. And I think the tank and support play was really where Scion kind of distanced themselves from No Use.
Yeah, I would have to tend to agree. However, as we look forward, we do go on to our map pick and ban phase. It's going to be on Scion to ban the first map. Then from there, No Use will get the option to pick any of the maps in our map pool, as long as they're not a control point map, or a control map, excuse me. And while we have a moment, while the teams are deciding, would like to give you guys a reminder. Don't forget to vote for that MVP down in the lower right hand of the chat box. At the end of this match, we will be interviewing the MVP of this game, so make sure you show them some love so we can show them the love in the caster's booth.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for that towards the end of the at the end of this series. But for right now, we will kind of focus on what No Use can do to kind of get back into this series. And I think now is the time where you've got to take a moment to kind of calm down and really kind of reset yourself after that very chaotic first map, and get back into the mindset that you need to have going forward in the series if you want to make a comeback. It's something that the coach SK talked about in our interview before the game. When you've got that kind of loose atmosphere in the team, it can be hard in these moments to really find your footing, but it's something that they've got to do if they want to be able to kind of claw themselves back against a team as good as Scion.
Yeah, and I mean, I think we've definitely seen them kind of try to at least seem like they want to initiate that kind of focus, that lock in. Like you don't go into a dive style composition on Gardens without some sort of plan to play together as a team. You might go something a little bit more brawly for that, but in this case they're going to be picking King's Row, so we kind of go to the other end of the spectrum where I don't think we'll be seeing anything like that. So maybe they decided that's not for us, that's not the way we want to play right now. We'll kind of evolve into it as the series goes on.
Yeah, well, we'll just have to see. And one thing I do want to mention about this series so far is that No Use is playing with a ringer here tonight. They've got Tony in on the support heroes for tonight. They don't have their usual main support coming through for this series, so that could be kind of an explanation for why some things feel just like slightly off in terms of the timings, in terms of the cohesion, and that can be enough to really kind of swing a series at certain points. And so far the support play for Scion I think has really just been absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing these teams kind of develop themselves as we go along, but we are going to be stepping into King's Row. The roster is revealed in just 5 seconds for those of you at home. It will be No Use for a Name on the right in red, Scion on the left in blue. I believe that those teams have changed sides, that is. But with that being said, yes, we're going to be seeing Scion Sports on the defense to start.
Yeah, and as long as these compositions at least kind of hold true, and I think parts of them very well might. The Mei is going to be a really huge part of this map, and that's a hero that has long been very powerful on King's Row. You've got all these tight corridors, and that is exactly where Mei thrives. You get the multi freezes, you get those walls off to really set your team up for big plays. So keep an eye out on Sai and Gatos. They're gonna be the players to watch here.
Yeah, certainly look forward to it. And as we see the teams get ready here, no big accretion rocks to start. Sometimes we'll see Sigmas try to lead with that accretion rock on the defense just to get some early damage, some early stun, stall the team out a little bit more. But it looks like the side of No Use is going to try to rotate around that statue, maybe all the way up through the buildings, although it looks like they're staying a little bit too long in this positioning. Those shields are getting burned down rather quickly. They don't have the luxury of keeping them up forever. And it looks like Scion's not really going to be pushing them based off of those barrier breakages quite yet. However, the Mei wall going up, going to be sectioning everybody off, and it looks like Cohesion kind of pushed off that high ground with that Hanzo, but he's going to be taking it back up, trying to wrap around. Tea Time gets dropped by Niche, and that is going to be costly. No! As well, Gummy going to be taking down Storm Hornet, and things are not looking great for No Use on this push. And as they drop off into the high ground, off from the high ground, it looks like they're just going to get cleaned up here, Shy Guy.
It was a decent kind of approach there from No Use. They wanted to get Gummy and Cohesion, Tea Time and Storm Hornet set up on the high ground there, while the rest of the team came through the low ground, have a couple of different angles of attack, but it just gets completely shut down. The halt from Niche sets up the opening pick. They're able to deal with Storm Hornet as well, so that's just going to be a reset here for No Use as they try to get back in here. Already a minute and a half gone off the time bank.
Yeah, they're going to be using that Mei wall just to buy themselves a little bit more space, use it as kind of a secondary shield, and they're going to be playing around this statue, but a big halt into the Accretion Rock, going to be doing a little bit of damage, jostling the team of No Name for just a little bit, and Raid going to be shaken up enough to get taken down by Fallen on that Zenyatta playing in that hotel, and again, the halt's coming in here just trying to control No Name as much as possible. Tea Time has a little bit of high ground, but Cohesion cleaning up the rest of the team with a Storm Dragon, making it a triple. Some amazing kills coming in. The halt to pull in Storm Hornet in the last of the Fallen.
And so far, the thing that Scion is doing really, really well is kind of punishing the cooldown usage from No Use. Every time the wall comes out, every time the shields kind of get broken or the grass gets used by Storm Hornet, they're capitalizing on that immediately and really punishing any small mistakes from No Use.
Yeah, certainly. It looks like No Use might try to take a little bit more of a direct approach, but they don't have the ults to back it up. The Immort field going to be coming out, keep everybody alive after that grab. Flux Fallen going to be taking it down, though, meaning that it's not going to be online. And the kills come in almost immediately as soon as that Immortality field comes down. They need to change something up here, Shy Guy.
They absolutely do. They're kind of a little bit scattered right now. They keep trying to send Tea Time on a little bit of a flank to go secure the high ground, but this time by the time he gets in position, his teammates are already dying, and there's really nothing he can do about it. They're finally going to be building up to this first round of ultimates, so this is the opportunity for No Use.
It really will be, though, but the BAP window going to be coming out from both sides. The Accretion Rock halt combo going to be coming in once again. Fallen taking down that Immortality field, perhaps with like a little bit more tighter positioning. The Transcendence coming out in response to the Sigma, the Mei, and the Dragons. Got those going to be taking down PMA Jellies, meaning that Immortality field and massive healing from Baptiste isn't going to be on the field. Oh, Jason dropping that supercharger kind of in the middle of the lane, but the Blizzard to respond from the side of Psy, who does get taken down for their hubris. The Dragons as well flying in, although the kills don't come off the back of those ults too quickly. It will be in the cleanup here that it is decided, and it's looking like it's going very well for the offense, at least a little bit. That is until the Sigma grab flux comes in. Gummy does get killed in the midst of it, though. The Immortality field there to keep everybody online, and this might be it for No Use. They might just claim it back, but the reinforcements are coming in from Scion. Scion able to get those people back in time. Psy on the Doomfist now, trying to stall out as much as possible. Fallen taking down Jason on the Zenyatta. Not the kills you would have expected, but with that, it looks like No Use will finally get some point progress here, and it looks like they'll be able to take it.
Yeah, there's not going to be another opportunity for a recontest. They will just barely get it over the line here at the tail end of point A. So a point on the board for the first time in this series, and now we get to settle into the street space here. Pretty much every ultimate blown by both teams in that fight, but towards the tail end, both those support ultimates for No Use about to come back online, so they've got a bit of an advantage and an opportunity to press their luck right now.
Yeah, it certainly seems like they're going to not be getting too aggressive off the back of it quite yet. They're going to be waiting around this first turn, waiting for the cart to naturally egress up towards that area. Sigma barrier getting broken down almost immediately for Storm Hornet, not going to have that resource up as quickly as they might like. Cohesion on the straights are just trying to be a little bit of a pest in the backline, doesn't quite get punished for it as you might like to see if you're on the offense. And another Sig Orisa halt combo coming in, and it will find value, but it doesn't find enough to get the kills. The Mei wall coming in, going to be sectioning off a little bit of the team, but they're not going to be too bothered by that. Again, another combo coming in. This time it does find value. Niche taking down Jason with that Orisa halt comboed with a couple of other abilities from the rest of their team, but the trades now going back and forth. It looks like No Use not willing to let up of this fight yet, and with that, Tea Time stuck in the back, going to get dropped because of it, but the cart continues to move here so slowly. Cohesion trying to do their best to negate that though here, Shy Guy.
And that amplification matrix is not going to do a whole lot for No Use. They don't get a lot of value out of it, but they come in with the Transcendence. The Pulse Bomb not doing a whole lot, and Raid just cleaning up this fight.
Yeah, Baptiste definitely putting down the power there. The question is, will Scion decide on the second defense? It doesn't look like they will for Street Space.
they were constantly on the back foot on that defense. They got a couple of nice plays, but the big thing is the flank that comes through from Storm Hornet and Tea Time. They wrap around the back, and they're able to get the killing blows necessary to get the cart moving once again, push through the second point, and now they've got a little bit of momentum at their backs.
Yeah, and we're going to see the Blizzard initiate this one from the side of Scion, but Sci getting burned down dangerously low. Ooh, and Gatos taking a big accretion rock from Gummy. It looks like with that one Blizzard will be enough to win the fight here moving forward for the side of Scion.
That's just a pitch perfect Blizzard engagement right there. The halt coming through from Niche really sets it up beautifully. There's absolutely nowhere to go for No Use, so they will be rejected. And now with Cohesion back on this Hanzo, the defense becomes much more deadly, much more shield break in play now.
Yeah, and the Supercharger is going to be used to initiate from the side of Scion. They're to tear down that Mei wall rather quickly, and the Immortality Field coming out, but it doesn't look like No Use is really taking advantage of it. They're just not even using those angles to poke. And as soon as that Immortality Field goes down, we're going to be seeing Gummy initiate with that grab flux. And with this, it looks like they're going to kill a large majority of the side of No Use. Gatos may barely be able to get out of there with their life, but it doesn't look like it as they're stuck in this uncomfortable side hallway.
They are indeed, and right now Scion hunting for that final kill, but not going to overextend in search of it. That's a nice, heads up play to just kind of fall back, take your fight, win, not press your luck, and really escape with your life. And now this is going to be the opportunity for No Use. They've got a lot of ultimates to work with, and they're ready to use them.
Yeah, and despite using the Transcendence from Tony, it looks like Storm Hornet will still drive from a combination of different abilities. And the Blizzard going to be dropped in a little bit of the backlines from Gatos, but again, these Transcendence to answer, this time from Fallen. Cohesion taking down Jason, and it's not looking the best for No Use for a name. They need to start making something happen given these defenders respawn, but it's just going to be the Baptiste on point with that lamp. Raid trying their best. Gummy taking a little bit of a trip off the map, but that doesn't seem to matter too much. Scion seems to have the claim here as the overtime timer. Looks like it's going to tick down as soon as Gatos drops.
Yes, and Jason not even going to be able to get back here to keep that OT going. So ultimately a stop coming in for Scion. But given where we were earlier in this map, where we were on the verge of a full hold, No Use has to be, fairly happy with where the cart winds up. Not the best you'll ever see on King's Row, but they definitely still have an opportunity to come up with the stop and take their first map of the series.
Yeah, this is certainly a respectable distance, given how much they struggled on first point. I was pleasantly surprised to see how quickly they went through second. It didn't seem like second was any sort of difficult for them. It seemed like Scion was perhaps a little bit tripped up throughout most of that phase, as you mentioned a little bit earlier. But, still a decent amount of distance to get through for Scion. Certainly achievable, though.
And part of that was the fact that Scion got caught kind of in an awkward composition there on point B. They were stuck with Cohesion on the Tracer for most of that second point, as he was got split spawns after the point A take. So that can kind of be chalked up to a little bit of bad luck for Scion, but now they've got the opportunity to really seize control of this series. If they can push past that yellow box of victory, then they will really have a dominant position, and they are coming out with yet again kind of the standard look here, that Hanzo Mei DPS duo that has been so prevalent recently is going to rear its head once again. Both sides just coming in with the mirror matchup.
It certainly will. We'll have to see if Scion eSports is going to be able to take a little bit more aggressive of a first point, really set themselves up. But they're going to initiate rather early with that Immortality Field, using it right out of the choke, or right at the choke. And it's weird because they don't seem to be suffering too much pressure here, Shy Guy.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea there. It allows them to kind of win the shield break battle without having to use those resources. But, No Use for Name just wisely backs off. They're able to get the kill on the Cohesion as he tries to take the high ground. Now Gummy isolated from the rest of his team in an awkward spot, but still Scion coming back in this one.
Yeah, now Scion is taking down Jason. No shielding going to be available from that Orisa. That main tanking capabilities are gone. Storm Hornet as well as T-Time still maintaining this high ground, though, giving a little bit of a tougher time for Scion to have to push up onto point. The Dragon's going to be coming out right down the side of the statue, and it's going to be, I believe, Cohesion trying to contest this upper area, but Fallen going to be doing a good enough job with some Zenyatta orbs to the chest of Storm Hornet, and the kills now starting to come in once again for Scion eSports. We're seeing PMA Jellies drop that window just to get a lot more damage in there. They're going to take first point relatively quickly.
They're gonna storm through it, and really it's that duo of Gummy and Cohesion. They put the pressure on the high ground. They're able to eventually deal with Storm Hornet, and that's kind of the first domino that falls as Scion looking very strong here. They've got almost 5 minutes to work with as they get this cart underway. So an excellent start for Scion as they look to continue the pressure here on No Use for a Name.
Yeah, and one thing we're seeing Scion do that I really like here is we're seeing them get aggressive. We're seeing them get moved way past the first point where we saw the side of No Use, and Cohesion going to be getting even more aggressive with the Dragon Strike coming in, getting 2 off the back of it. T-Time and Storm Hornet. However, Tony taking down Gummy. The field leveling just a little bit as Tony drops that Transcendence, keeping everybody alive. Immortality field gets cleaned up in the midst, but it does not stop Scion from cleaning and sweeping through the rest of streets.
No, and I mean, it all starts with that Dragon. He throws it in from the low ground, catches No Use completely off guard with that one, and then from there, it's almost impossible to come back from it. They needed the Blizzard of a lifetime and don't quite get it. There will be an opportunity to come in for the recontest. They'll have both tank ultimates as well as that Batiste amplification matrix, but Scion is waiting.
We're going to have to see Storm Hornet going to be using the Grab Flux right after Nitch uses the Supercharger. Gummy going to be finding some value with their Grab Flux, however, and it looks like Scion does not want to be stopped. They're getting very close up here, but now the sides have swapped a little bit. T-Time taking down Psy, hiding in the back of cart, using that Dragon to try to clean up just a little bit, but the tanks are going to carry through for the side of Scion.
And that's been the story so much here tonight. It's been, the kills coming through from No Use for a Name, but they can't quite deal with those 2 tanks. Gummy and Nitch having an uncanny ability to stay alive through these fights and win it out. And now we are very close to the end of this map.
Yeah, there's only a few meters that separate. They win from a loss for either team right here. And yeah, about 4.5 minutes, the teams are going to have to try to hold out or win as quickly or as fast as possible. And with that being said, the barrier already getting broken for the Sigma on defense. Gummy taken down, and the back window coming out relatively early. The Maywall not quite blocking it, so it's going to be able to be torn down rather easily. T-Time, however, finding some incredible value with those Hanzo arrows. Going to be taking down 2 in the midst of it, and with that, it looks like a back off from Scion. Nitch taking some damage, taking an Accretion Rock after a halt. Storm Hornet cleaning them up in quick.
And that's exactly what you need here to stabilize for No Use as they try to settle in for the long haul on this defense. They've got a solid ult economy coming into this next fight, so an opportunity to keep this going. They lose Gatos early though.
Yeah, Gatos perhaps a little too arrogant, a little too ready for that Blizzard play. Both Dragons coming out with the Immortality fields to answer from both, and Fallen going to be dropping that Transcendence in response to the Dragons as well. It might have done the trick here as Scion continues to get the kills, pulls ahead. They are only a few full meters away from landing that box, and they're going to do it here, Shy Guy.
They will indeed, and take a 2-0 lead in this series. Just a dominant performance, kind of clinical here on King's Row from Scion, getting great contributions from the entire roster. Cohesion getting a lot of big picks on this Hanzo and really taking control of this series.
Yeah, I mean, control is necessary even when you're not playing control, all right? So, I mean, we're seeing a lot of good plays right now. I think that No Use, their players aren't playing bad. It just seems a little disjointed. It doesn't seem like they're able to really focus down and switch their focus to what they need to at times. But with that being said, I'm tired of hearing my own opinions, folks. I want to hear your opinions. Be sure to lock in that MVP vote. Let us know who you think is popping off so we can interview them after the game. Me and Shy Guy are both really hyped about that, so definitely let us know who you think is popping off.
Yeah, and while you're at it, if you're enjoying what we are bringing to the table here at Star Esports, come and join us on any and every platform. We're on Twitch, of course. We're on Twitch. That's where you're watching this right
We're
now.
here.
But, you know, we've got the Discord going. We've got Twitter. We want you in all those places. We've got an excellent community here with a lot of fantastic tier 3 teams like the ones that we're seeing right now. So, you know, if you aren't already a member, go on, get in here, join in on the fun. We would love to have you. But now we're going to be turning our attention to map 3 to see if No Use can start to try to bring this series back a little bit, if they can turn it around. So far, so good for Scion as they look to continue their excellent performances that we've seen from them as of late.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, nailed it right on the head there, Shy Guy. But we will not be seeing that performance take place on Rialto, as Scion are going to decide that they don't necessarily gel well with that map. No Use for a name will be deciding the next map in the pool. So quite a few to choose from here. And as you mentioned before, No Use in the uncomfortable spot of having to do basically a reverse sweep. So I don't envy their position. We've kind of discussed a little bit about where they might find a little bit more value, but it's going to have to be a major change I think we see come through for them.
No, I definitely do. And one thing I want to see from No Use as we move forward is to be a little bit more kind of deliberate with their cooldown usage. You know, we haven't been in the GOATS meta for quite a while now, but a lot of the legacy of that is still readily apparent in Overwatch today. And the main thing is kind of the rotations of those cooldowns. The shields, your grasps from your Sigma, the walls from the Mei, all of those defensive abilities in particular, and probably the most important one being that immortality field from the Batiste, are so vital. You can't be throwing those out willy-nilly. You've got to be using them with a really kind of set purpose in mind. So if they can clean those things up just a little bit, I think there's kind of an avenue for them to really make some headway against Scion.
Yeah, and you know, you talk about those ability usages, and it kind of ties into the tanks because Orisa halts. It seems like over the last 2 days I've been watching these games. Orisa halts are some of the most powerful abilities in the game right now, currently that we're seeing mainstream. Just because they're able to set up for some high impact. We're seeing the Hanzo get some shots off. We're seeing Accretion Rocks go in. Mei's even able to build up a little bit of that Blizzard. So, I mean, it's really a crucial thing to have to set up and organize here. I think I completely agree. If one team can sharpen those just an edge over the other, they're going to have a real good time with that. However, we are going to be going on to Lijiang Tower next to start. We are going to be going on to Gardens, a personal favorite of mine. Shy Guy, what do you expect to see here?
I wouldn't be surprised to see the Pharah make an appearance here. We already saw Gatos break it out earlier on Oasis, so that wouldn't surprise me one bit to see it here, and indeed that looks to be the case. An interesting looking comp coming out from No Use at this point. They've got the Orisa and the Wrecking Ball in play, so kind of a bit of a hybrid composition here, not quite going full dive. Not sticking with kind of the standard Orisa Sigma duo. We'll see how it plays out as now kind of the table is being flipped here, and the dive going to be in play from Scion.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see if they can make things happen a little bit here. Cohesion on this Doomfist, I gotta say I'm liking it a little bit. And Stormborn are gonna be going in there a little bit ahead of their team, taking a few punches but rolling away just fine. That is until they get hacked. T-Time looking like they went off the map, not quite sure what happened there. But so far, the kill's not coming in for No Use. They just do not seem to be able to get it together. Cohesion, getting that value on the Doomfist that you absolutely need. Perhaps Garden's not the most predominant Doomfist map, but we're seeing it play to a pretty high degree here.
Yeah, and in that first fight, Scion, they pretty much just kind of get to the point quickly and immediately. They have the position that they want, and as No Use is trying to make their way over the bridge, they kind of just get melted. So a rough start for our team trying to make a comeback. Cohesion already wreaking havoc.
Yeah, Tony going to be getting hacked by Sai. Knock.
Okay, well, looks like Sir Waltham has dropped out, so I'll be taking over right now. Sai gonna get that EMP off, hits onto 4 members and deals with them immediately. Okay, Cohesion popping off on the back of that EMP, and Scion just continuing their dominant performance.
Yeah, absolutely looking like a little bit of issues here on my end, but that is all right. Still happy to see all this action going so aggressive right now, and it looks like the fights, they're just taking a moment to regroup themselves, but the fight going to be heading on here in just a few moments.
But now No Use going to be coming online with 5 and very nearly 6 ultimates into this next fight. If there's an opportunity for them, it's got to be right here. Already the Coalescence coming out. Can they get any kind of position off the back of that? They take down Cohesion.
It looks like Gatos is going to drop that rocket barrage from on high. Gummy trying to use those mines to zone themselves out, but the Gatos still able to find more kills instead. And with this, Gatos now posting up inside the gazebo area, inside the main garden's capture point, and able to put down that damage with the rockets. It looks like people are just back and forthing on this point. Storm Hornet going to be knocking around Gummy and killing Supreme with some good old-fashioned bullet action. And with that, there is still yet to be a flip for No Use. They need to get those kills quick so they can get this fight won as much and get as much percentage as they can.
Yeah, it's going to be Scion building up to at least 99% here. They will eventually be dealt with as No Use get the flip they were looking for. But it took a lot for them to get there. And look what's online for Scion. Psy has that EMP ready to go. The sound barrier as well. This is going to be a very difficult hold.
Yeah, we'll have to see if that EMP can find the value that they need it to. There is a lot of vulnerable targets to EMP. Storm Hornet getting hacked early on as well. The sound barrier coming on, going to be giving Psy a little bit of a boost. Getting Gatos and Jason with the EMP. Gatos not able to fly, meaning that they're not able to retreat that well either. And with that, Gummy going to be taking them down. The Meteor Strike coming in, not going to be landing too much damage, but Cohesion actually going to be the one getting stomped on as Storm Hornet goes for the pile driver. And with that, Scion eSports going to be taking the slow flip. And with that, just 33%, something needs to happen from the side of No Use for a Name. Can they make it happen here, Shy Guy?
It's got to be tea time to make the hero plays. They've got the Valkyrie Mercy from Raid. 4 members back on the side of No Use. An opportunity. Got those drops to the barrage. Only finds 1, though. They're still managing to turn this one around, though.
Yeah, an interesting switch onto the Symmetra by Cohesion gets taken down by the Tracer, and right now it is looking like a large tank battle going in place. Gummy and Jason trying to take down the side of Storm Hornet and Niche right now, and it is just the Moira on point with the Tracer. Joof is coming back, not quite able to make it in time. With that, it's going to go over to Scion for the first point.
The hero play is almost coming through from No Use there. Tea time, especially on that Tracer, was putting in work in that final fight, staying alive for such a long time. Just barely missed out on blinking back to the point to keep things going, give them an opportunity to keep that fight in their favor, but they will fall eventually, and now they're down to their last stand. It's got to happen here on Control Center, or this series is over.
Yeah, I mean, this is absolute backs to the wall time here. If No Use wants to go in to the winner's bracket, they need to make it happen here, or continue along a winner's bracket, I should say. They need to maintain it here. Gummy going in on this Reinhardt. I believe it's the first time we've seen Reinhardt play this match. I'm a little bit excited for it.
Yeah, and we've in fact got that on both sides of the Reapers as well on the field. Tea time and Cohesion gonna be up close and personal, and already Tony having to use that Immortality field. It goes down, and so does Storm Hornet.
Yeah, as soon as that Immortality field goes down, it looks like just an absolute bloody brawl here. These Reapers try to pry as much damage into the team as possible. This is looking just so messy. This is looking like a mosh pit more than like an organized team fight right here, Shy Guy. But it does not seem to matter for the side of Supreme, or for the side of Scion. They're going to come away looking pretty from that fight.
Oh god, and Jason, he makes a temporary swap to the Wrecking Ball because he thought he was going to be able to try to get back to this fight quickly. Gives up some ult percentage in the meantime, and that's going to put them at a pretty serious disadvantage there. Look at the other side. Niche at 65%.
Gummy Shatter. Gummy Shatter.
Oh my god!
Big Gummy Shatter coming in, getting, I believe that was like 5 members of the opposing team. Everybody except the Reinhardt. It's going to be a full 6-man wipe. Oh my goodness, Shy Guy.
Oh, they never saw it coming. He was waiting in the wings, just right around the corner. You gotta check for those kind of things. I know Reinhardt hasn't really been in the meta all that much recently, so teams maybe not as, used to checking their corners, but now the Maywall cuts off the supports from the rest of the team, and they're in trouble.
Yeah, and an absolutely unfortunate positioning for that Immort field to have to go down by Tony. And with that, Tony going to be dropping themselves. That was Reaper getting sectioned off as well by a nice ice wall from Psy. And the charge going in from Gummy, trying to find something, does not find anything with it, but they're going to be getting so aggressive onto the spawn of No Use.
No fear at all coming out from Scion right now. They're just brick on the gas pedal at this time. They throw out the supercharger at the spawn doors.
Yeah, and it's going to be the tanks getting sectioned off, the charge coming in from Gummy, or onto Gummy, and with that, it looks like No Use might be able to capitalize on a little bit of this aggression here. The Blizzard going to be thrown in, but does not catch everybody. It looks like No Use going to be cycling on the point, and they might take advantage here.
Yes, but the flip not quite coming through. PMA Jellies and Cohesion buying a little bit of time here. Those extra few percentage points are going to be impactful now because, you know, one fight is probably enough for Scion in this series.
It certainly will be, and a pin going on to Gummy, cleaned up by Jason with a little bit of primary fire. That Maywell coming in, trying to block. Not going to quite section anybody off, but it will help to get the team secured.
But now look at all the resources available for Scion. They're going to have 5 ultimates coming into this fight, and they're ready to go. The Death Blossom is finding a lot, though.
Yeah, Cohesion kind of sneaking their way back to point. They're going to be trying to back cap or at least pull a little bit of pry out, but the Blizzard going to be coming in. The Death Blossom coming in and following the Blizzard. Cohesion getting the cleanup right there. And with that, he has to duel the May and the Lucio. Is not able to find the kill on the Gatos, who is now dueling Jellies. It's looking so scrappy. There are just a few members left for both sides, it seems.
Yes, but Scion has turned on the Jets. They've gotten the fast heroes back into this fight, and they look ready to get this flip. The Shatter only finds one, but it's going to be enough to deal with Storm Hornet.
And certainly will be, and the flip going to be going in quick fashion as soon as that Wrecking Ball is killed. Played by Jason. Trying to get some slam, trying to perhaps just build some charge. Not going to quite be it. There's 95% left on the board.
Oh, and who's even going to be the one to get in here for the touch? It looks like it's going to be T-Time. He's teleporting in. He gets booped back. Can he make it to the point? Just barely does.
He barely does. Storm Hornet getting a kill onto Niche, as well as Cohesion getting taken down by Gatos. Things are looking a little bit more favorable for the now attacking team of No Use, but the support ult's coming in, the barrier and the BAP window. Gummy going to be dropped in the middle of a Blizzard, but it's not going to be enough perhaps for Gatos to take the kill. As I say that though, it's going to be Gummy falling down to the Blizzard and to a few icicles to the forehead, might I add. And with that, it looks like Scion going to be able to pull the kills out nonetheless. And with that, they're going to be taking the second point here on Ilios, and they're going to be taking the series.
Yes, they will. A 3-0 victory for Scion. You know, they show us that they haven't dropped off at all during this break. They are back and they are ready to show what they've got here in the All-Star Brawl. One of the favorites in this tournament, and they really show up here tonight. They were firing on all cylinders. A nice, you know, almost a comeback coming through from No Use there on that last point. They show Scion that they can't just kind of walk over them, that they can't do whatever they want. So, you know, things to hang their hat on for No Use to learn from in this series and to take back into their practice and try to, you know, kind of build into their game as they look forward into their lower bracket run.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, they're going to be using this match, I think, as a little bit of fuel to push themselves through that lower bracket. They certainly don't want to go 0-2 in this series, as that will get them kind of ejected from the tournament. But with that being said, don't forget to get those last-minute votes in for MVP, folks. It is just about time for us to be announcing the winner, so we want to get them in the booth with us so we can have a little chat with them. So, Shy Guy, do you have any votes for MVP?
That is a really tough one. If I'm going to single out anyone in this series, I think I would have to go with PMA Jellies. The Batiste play coming out from Scion, I think, was just spot on. His immortality field usage was pitch perfect throughout the series. He was always there in the perfect moment, right as his teammates were about to go down. He comes through with the saves so often. I really love to see that, and he really impressed me tonight.
Yeah, I have to agree. For me, I'm a little bit more of a flashy kind of guy, so I really got to give it up for that I believe 5 or 6 man shatter we saw on the last map of Lijiang. It was that gets my vote. I believe it was if my memory serves, which is pretty poor sometimes, it was Gummy on that Reinhardt getting that big slam. So I definitely got to give big ups, big props for that. But I think it's going to come down to the viewer's choice here in just a moment.
It absolutely will, and that would not bother me one bit to see Gummy getting that. The Reinhardt main in me just loves to see a shatter like that. And in the world of double shields, you don't necessarily get those huge shatters all that often anymore. So absolutely beautiful to see, and Scion coming away with a well-earned victory here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, they will be going up against the winner of our next match with, if memory serves, I'm going to have to look up those teams here. It's going to be between the sides of Six Guns and Team 2, which we'll be casting here in just about under an hour, or over an hour, I'd say, if my math is right there, Shy Guy. I'm sure you can let me know. But, I mean, we're going to have to see how they fare as we get higher and higher into these tiers. It's going to be exciting to see these teams with the cream rising to the top as it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. And for No Use, your run is not over. They'll drop down into the lower bracket. They'll still have plenty of opportunities to make a comeback, to learn from their mistakes here tonight, to get back with their full kind of 6-man usual roster, and really try to bring this one back, to turn things around after what was a really tough opening round matchup. I got a feel for them a little bit. They went up against what in my mind is potentially the best team in this tournament. You've got a few names that are really up there as the favorites. You've got Citizens, you've got Astray, but Scion has to be right there with the best of them. So there is absolutely no shame in coming away with the loss here tonight, and I'm sure that they'll be able to go back to review this VOD and to really kind of take this and use it as a stepping stone to bigger and better things.
Yeah, certainly have to agree. I mean, you don't really learn anything from easy wins, so I think that No Use is going to definitely have some stuff that they can take down, jot down in their notebooks for some improvement. Look forward to seeing that. Always like seeing teams get better as the tournaments go on. However, it seems like we have just gotten the vote here, Shy Guy, for MVP, and it looks like the viewers have decided that Tea Time going to be hopping into the booth with us.
Yeah, I think that's a very reasonable choice. If I was going to be picking anybody off the side of No Use, it would definitely be Tea Time throughout the series. I thought he had an excellent showing. His Hanzo was really quite impressive. He had a great knack for finding angles to get around both of those shields coming out from Scion, and really have had a huge impact throughout this series.
Yeah, I think we're going to be keeping an eye out for them as No Use for a Name kind of goes through this tournament. I know it seems like Twitch chat will, if they decided that he was worthy of that MVP vote. But as we are talking about them, and so it shall be, they are going to be hopping into chat with us. Tea Time, the DPS player for No Use. How are you doing, my friend?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
I'm doing pretty good. Disappointing about the result, but what can you do? You move on. You learn from your mistakes.
Yeah. So, I mean, if we're talking a little bit about that series, how did you feel about your kind of individual performance throughout this one here tonight?
Individually, I feel like I did pretty well. I pulled my own weight. Had some moments where I thought we could bring it back a little bit, but it wasn't to be. Not much you can do better in the end, though. We went against a really good, solid team, and we fell short. No excuses.
Yeah. So kind of when we look back at the series, what do you kind of attribute Scion's success to? What were they doing that really gave you guys a lot of trouble throughout the series?
Team coordination is a big part of it. They were always watching each other's back. They were always there anytime one of them was in trouble. And that really helped them out. So anytime, I think the one time on King's Row where I had this random ask, flank and killed 4 was probably the only time they showed they didn't cover each other. But other than that, anytime their Hanzo was out, they'd cover the Hanzo. Anytime their Sig was out, they'd cover him. So
now, I have a question as you talk about that kind of them covering each other, because when we first saw you guys come out onto the field, it was, I believe, Gardens on an Oasis.
Yeah.
And you guys chose a little bit of a dive composition there, if my memory does me right. Is that a composition you guys are more comfortable with, or you guys are more preference towards and it just didn't work out, so you switched off of it, or is that something that you had just for that sub map?
It's something we like to try, and we like to see. Everyone's so used to the spam, the Hanzo, and Bap and Zen, and Bap Zen are diveable characters, so we like to try the dive here and there. And sometimes it works when we're playing well, and sometimes it doesn't go so well, as you guys saw.
Yeah, certainly. I think overall, the team coordination was kind of something you touched on, but did this, like, I guess, bring to mind any times where you've had like personal I think every Overwatch player goes through that period where they're having trouble getting better. Was there any time where you kind of found yourself really struggle, and how did you get through that struggle in this match?
I wouldn't say I had any struggles in this map personally. I kind of like go into every game with the same mindset of I just need to do my job. I need to do what I do. Doesn't matter who I'm playing against or not. You just adapt to the game, and it's a team game in the end. You pull your weight, and if you don't, you hope your teammates can help you out. Yeah, but I don't think I had any moment where I said to myself that I'm struggling here. So.
All right, I like that. I really like that answer. Shy Guy, do you have any more questions for Tea Time?
Yeah, I do have one. One thing I kind of noticed from you in particular throughout the series was kind of going on a lot of like flanks on the Hanzo to try to get like alternate angles, get around those shields. Is that kind of the game plan for you guys, or is that something that you kind of adapted to what Scion was doing throughout the series? You thought that might be kind of an approach that would work in particular against this team?
No, it's definitely a game plan that we have. We always try to have our Sig Storm kind of cover me for me a little bit when I'm on the off angle. But in this meta with the two shields, if you're just spamming forever, it's just going to be like a back and forth. But the Hanzo, who has one-shot potential, going on a flank or on an off angle at least, is a lot more value, because then you have the chance to actually get a pick or two instead of spamming shields for 5 hours.
Yeah, certainly. I think we can. I think there's a lot of logic to that. But Tea Time, I think that we are about to end our time with you here. We want to give you a big thanks for coming into the caster booth, answering questions for us, and I'd like to give you the last opportunity to say any final words or speak to the audience, as you will.
You know what? Disappointing. Forget about it. We come back stronger. We roll. Watch out for that.
That resilience, we're looking forward to seeing it. Look forward to seeing you in your next matches, but until then, best of luck, my friend.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and thanks for all those who voted me for some reason.
Absolutely. And Shy Guy, that means we are about ready to wrap up. But before we do wrap up, I have one special thanks to give out here. It's going to be to Bortle for the Prime sub, sliding it in at the very end of this broadcast. Thank you very much. I hope I'm not butchering your name too badly. But Shy Guy, do you want to go ahead and do the sign off?
Yeah, thanks everyone for joining us for the first game here tonight. We'll be back in just about an hour to take down the second matchup of the evening, which, as you mentioned earlier, is going to be Team 2 going up against Six Guns. So go grab yourselves a snack, get a drink, take a little bit of a break, as we will as well. So we'll see you guys on the other side, but thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah, and as always, I have been your caster, Sir Waltham. You can catch me on Twitter at Sir Waltham.
Yeah, you can find me at ShyGuyOW on Twitter, and catch everything that I'm doing there, casting, writing, all kinds of good stuff. Thanks once again for joining us, and we'll see you guys in just a little while.